You know what? I'm just gonna make this video because I want to. And I'm sick of this shit. And I'm getting extremely sick of this shit. The Sega versus. I mean, no, not Sega versus. I mean, Sega and Gearbox basically are getting sued for false advertisement. And I think it's pretty much big newsworthy information right here because apparently the people at Screw Attack have decided that we should be more fair and we shouldn't really put this lawsuit because it would put these developers in fear of putting out these so-called early game demos, and if they were false. Well, first and foremost, I strongly disagree with Screw Attack in just about every fucking way. I don't want to see their whole thing go away or any of that shit, but no, no. Gearbox and Sega, they swindled their customers. In the very definition of swindling, they swindled them. If you, none of you don't know this, but are for those who don't know, sorry. But anyways, Sega and Gearbox, mostly Gearbox, put out this whole tech demo and said it was actual game footage of their game called Alien Colonial Marines. And of course, if you haven't kept tabs, the footage was bullshit. And I mean complete bullshit. Because when the game finally came out, large amount of shit was missing from this, that was in the demo, that was just not in the actual game. Textures were missing, um, animations were missing, and of course, the alien AI in the demo was just spot on perfect. Why the alien AI in the final version was that of a kamikaze pilot who thinks that the best way of fighting is just run and scream at them, and hopefully they won't get hit with enough bullets before they finally are able to kill the main guy. Eh, oh yeah, and the extra characters were basically immortal. I mean, supporting characters. The supporting characters that were supporting you were technically immortal. Wow. And of course, they also said the Wii U would have the more definitive version. They actually said that, which is funny because they canceled the Wii U version. Screen tearing, frame rate drops, insanely bad graphics, mainly due to bad emulation. The game was practically everything from a complete fucking joke to just outright laughable. I mean, there's tons of videos where people are just putting up glitches and shit about this game on how amazingly god awful it is. And there's even some that compared the demo to the final version, and the demo is spectacular, but the final in the demo they were like having somebody there playing the game, but yeah, what yeah, what happened to that game? Oh yeah, it was a lie, just like the cake. And yeah, we need to put this lawsuit out. Everybody needs to understand that this lawsuit needs to be put out. Not for, I mean, I can understand developers out there who are hungry and trying to, make a living and all that other shit. And I sympathize with them. But this case, they literally fucked their customer base over, lied to them, and when Gearbox said they were working on most of the game, that was a lie too. Because in the opening credits, there's like 5 or 6 other developers who did other things that Gearbox were trying to point their fingers at and saying, "Oh, they screwed up the game, not us." Gearbox, you're the one who were tasked to put the game together. Who the fuck are these other people? And the reason why this lawsuit needs to be put out is that we've been going under this for a while. Not just, Wii U users, PS3, Xbox 360, PC, hell, even Mac, or hell, in all gaming in general. We gamers have been completely fucked by these backstabbing little shit developers who think they can just do whatever they want and get away with it, and nobody is going to do shit to stop it. Or, they're just not going to complain because, they're gamers. They just pull their pants down, take their daily rapes like a good little boy, and then quietly shut the fuck up later on. And that's what this mess is. It's just bullshit at the most highest caliber of bullshit I've ever seen. I mean, yes, some people have learned from their mistakes and constant lying that it doesn't really lead to much of anything, except more and more people just yelling at you and calling you a complete idiot. Gabe Newell is pretty much a testament to, turning yourself around after saying so much bullshit. Yes, he was caught on tape saying some really nasty bullshit about the PlayStation 3, and in some cases even the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, but then he suddenly turned himself around. And if most of you don't understand, he wasn't just the PlayStation 3 or Wii. He was also bad mouthing the Macs as well. Apple's Macs. And some of the shit he said. I mean, he literally would ramble on saying, "Oh, we went to a conference with Apple and we tried putting our game out onto their thing, and they gave us a constant runaround. We talking to one person and another person, which never happened, and the conversation never took place. And it was later proven when Steam was put out on Mac, along with their entire library of games, because Apple had a simple rule about putting games on their Macs. We don't care. That's pretty much was their rule. And of course, Gabe Newell ended up making this massive apology to in front of the whole Sony laboratory when talking about Portal 2 coming out. But yeah, long story short, Gabe basically made a 360 on himself and apologized to everybody, and I think he's a better person for it. Of course, I had to take down certain complaining videos I said about him, but I think in the end it was pretty much worth it. He did turn himself around, and he stopped bullshitting people. And boy, did he stop bullshitting people. But that doesn't mean that other companies wouldn't stop bullshitting people. I mean, you look at the back of the box of Injustice and Black Ops 2 on the Wii U, they both say downloadable content on them. And guess what? There is no downloadable content. That's all false advertisement. And quite basically, they can get their asses sued for that bullshit. But I know we shouldn't spread that around. And yeah, I mean, Screwtack's like, well, this would make other companies afraid if they were going to do this whole, false advertisements on other people. Well, that's the point. It's to make them realize that doing this type of shit to people, to the gaming community, is wrong. That's the point. Is that what they're doing is hurtful to the gaming community. Can't speak English here. Yeah, it's just more hurtful than actually benefiting them. That's the whole point. Show them that it's wrong, and most of these corporations don't listen until you start stabbing them in the in the wallets. I mean, hell, Alien Colonial Marines had a fucking review embargo, so reviewers couldn't say if the game was good or bad before the game came out. So a whole bunch of people went out and bought the game without ever hearing a review from anybody until the embargo was lifted. And by that time, you can hear reviewers everywhere scrambling out and running in every which direction, yelling, "Don't buy the fucking game." And everybody got hit on that one. Well, except maybe the Wii U users and the Mac users. I mean, since Macs hardly ever get games anyways. And, of course, the Wii U, that version got canceled. Well, it turned out to be a blessing. Even though that some Wii users, I mean, they were saying that the Wii U was going to be the definitive version. Finding out that was bullshit, too. I mean, and then, of course, it's, if you remember Torchlight 2, when they said, oh, we're going to come out for Windows and Mac, and then on their opening day, They cut off the Mac version, and I don't think they refund any of those Mac users any of their money. Yeah, yeah, fuck you, Mac users. And of course, there's this new game called Midi Moto Racer Evolve, which they said was going to go on for Windows and Macs, and hell, it was all over Steam. And right on the day it came out, it's only PC now. And of course, they're saying, oh, it's delayed and shit like that, but no, no, they canceled it just outright. They just wanted to make sure that they got enough money from the Mac users before they cancel the game and screw them over. And yeah, these are all prime examples of false advertisement in line to their customer base. This is what they constantly keep doing. Look, if you're a hardworking developer that makes good games and at least don't lie, I mean, even BioWare getting up there and saying, oh, we're making this game for, PlayStation 3, uh, Xbox 360, and the PC, and we're not going to put it on these other systems, that's fine. That's good because they're not lying to their customers. And when they say they're going to allow them to make all these decisions and all that, and you play Mass Effect 2 and all those decisions are there and you can do whatever the fuck you want in that game, that's not false advertisement. That's a good example of doing good business and actually showing off good demos and doing good things and seeing what they're going to come out for and not come out to. In the case of fucking Alien Colonial Marines, they put out a bad demo, lied to certain people about what console, and then said that one console would be the definitive version when it came out, which was bullshit. I mean, let's just face it. Mass Effect 2 is a good example of a good advertisement, and fucking Alien Colonial Marines is a good example of bullshit advertisement all the way through and just screwing your customers in every which fucking possible way. I mean, the entire fucking game is bad. Outright just bad. And for once, the Nintendo users and the Mac users were spared a bullet. But yeah, I agree with this lawsuit. And from my honest opinion, if you're a developer who's going around giving out proper demos to people and putting out good games and saying what consoles it's going to come out and what it's not going to come out for, you're fine in my book. You're absolutely fine. But if you're going to be a developer who's going to lie, cheat, and basically lie about what consoles you're going to come out for and then later drop it after you've even taken their money, or in other Semitic bullshit, or just come out with bullshit demos, say you're going to come out with a console and then drop it and because the game came out and it's a complete piece of shit and you basically swindled a whole bunch of people by putting up these bullshit embargoes. You know what? I hope to God you get everything. I hope to God you get everything you deserve smashing into you all at once, you son of a bitch. You are a fucking snake oil salesman who is just selling nothing but bullshit snake oil to people and just hoping to God you can just grab as much of the cash that you want, you blind, cheating piece of shit. And as far as I'm concerned with Gabe Newell, he turned himself around and made a better person out of himself and stopped lying about all of his bullshit. And I'm actually proud of the guy. But as far as fucking Gearbox and Sega is concerned, they're getting what's coming to them. And it's about time that gamers get up there and actually do something to stop this continuous amount of bullshit, or they're going to be constantly hit with this. And I'm not talking, and like I said, I'm talking about all the gamers on all the different platforms everywhere. Get up and do something about this, or it's just going to get worse.